Hello, Sengkangers. Has your MP walked his talk and proven his efficacy?
You know, Dr. Lim, I read your manifesto, and actually, to be honest with you, we could have written the same manifesto.
We like that.
And that's why people have called the Workers' Party PAP Light or PAP like. It's almost a position where whatever line or stand the PAP has taken, you basically use that as your reference point, then take a half step to the left. And that's why we really don't have too many fundamental things to disagree about. But even that half step left
You need to get to your question,
has
Dr.
got
Balakrishnan.
fiscal questions. And I'm just asking you, in all the, the little steps left, how are you going to, the trade-off with cost, and who pays for it? And how would you allocate that cost?
Dr. Lim,
Thank you. So thanks for the question, Dr. Balakrishnan. I think the kind of meta point
Yes.
that is being asked is that whether we are in fact just equivalent to the PAP. And I think we have often emphasized in the Workers' Party that we do not necessarily object to policy just because of the sake of objection. Ultimately, what we want is the right policy. I think the fact that we're having a debate and agitating toward an answer is a step positive in that direction. Now, you have then went on to say that what we have done is move to the left, and the kind of underlying query is that, well, perhaps by moving to the left, we are being irresponsible fiscally.
Not at all.
Well, I would like to emphasize, within the manifesto, we have actually done the math behind it, and everything within our budget it actually is budget neutral. Now, what is true though is that it does entail a set of trade-offs, and I cannot emphasize this enough. I think where we fundamentally differ is where we think those trade-offs actually should occur. Now, the PAP would tend to side on the side of capital. We think, in fact, that for every dollar of national income, Singaporean workers already receive an insufficient amount, 42 cents, compare that to 55 cents in Japan, and much higher in other high-income countries. And we think that a rebalance of that kind of share of labor income is ultimately necessary.
Very good. Time for your question now.
Yes. So I will likewise ask Dr. Balakrishnan a meta question.
Sure.
And the meta question is this: you have listed all the policies, and I agree with the spirit of the policies, which is the PAP has put in one of the largest stimulus policies post-COVID-19.
Yes.
But how much has the PAP actually evaluated the efficacy of its policies? And I ask this in the context of things that were already raised. Dr. Chi mentioned that productivity, in spite of the fact that since 1972, the PAP has tried to raise productivity unsuccessfully. You talk about the progressive wage model, but yet, as Mr. Yuan pointed out, we are still in a position where we still see the elderly.
Get your question very soon.
And that is the question. It is how much the PAP has actually estimated the efficacy of the policies it rolls out, because I would have lack of confidence that their big budgets might actually do the job.
Well, I think the first point,
Dr. Balakrishnan,
the first point is that actually you agree substantively with most of our policies. First point. You have a good question in terms of efficacy. And right now, you are right, we have put aside a 20% of our GDP fiscal stimulus. And you're right, this is unprecedented in our history, and even as an economist, you will know unprecedented internationally. But there is one key difference. We are funding this not by passing the burden to our children or grandchildren, but from our reserves. And you have to ask yourself, how come we have reserves? And it is a question of values. Our pioneer and Merdeka generation always believe in spending less than they earn on a recurrent basis. That's why we have the reserves, and that's why we can deploy that for a rainy day. This is a rainy day. Now, it's quite right question, efficacy, and we need to measure outcomes. Now, let's talk about productivity. Right? We're a city-state. We have to bring in investments. And some of these, and you will know full well, the nature of these investments, high capital investments, high-tech investments, high intellectual property investments, will not generate the same labor share of much of the last industrial revolution. So I think you, to be fair, you need to realize, and I think in your own writing you've acknowledged that simply minimum wage does not shift that percentage.
I wish to touch on two final matters. First, we understand that there are a limited number of neighborhood shops across Sengkang. In older estates, you find these every few blocks, and meals and provisions are typically a short walk away. But this is not the case in Sengkang. Singaporeans love to eat, and we love to shop. These are central to our identity. So when we fail to provide places near our homes where we can gather for kopi or bubble tea, we lose more than just convenience. We lose a sense of community and belonging. Such spaces are social places, so their absence tears apart the connection to the places that we call home. If we are elected, we will work hard and push for more spaces for neighborhood shops. We all have young children, and we appreciate the importance of places where we can go to eat, play, and shop. There are simply too few of such places in Sengkang, and we want to change that. Second, I wish to express how important it is that our government doesn't just promise us jobs, but good jobs, jobs that Singaporeans actually want to take on, jobs that pay enough so that the cost of living does not outrun our paychecks. Too many of the promised jobs fail to meet up to our expectations, either because they require us to compete in a race to the bottom, or because they call for us to have skills that the educational system did not provide to us. As members of the sandwich generation, we face the same pressure to take care of aging parents while raising kids of our own. We understand how it feels like to have jobs that are not only insufficient to meet our needs, but insecure at the same time. If elected, we will call for a re-examination of our nation's economic model to finally raise the productivity of our workers that has so far eluded us, and to finally enable us to work not just hard, but also smart. Let me remind you of what we offer. We don't just want more of the same, more covered walkways, more lift upgrades. We also want to tackle issues that truly matter to the people in Sengkang, relieving bottlenecks in childcare centres, dedicated paths for bicycles and PMDs, and more neighbourhood spaces. We will do so with a new town council, and this system will draw on the experience of our history in Punggol East and our management of other Workers' Party wards, which are just as good, if not better, than those run by the PAP. We need a new vision to present alternatives that the current government cannot even imagine is even possible.
Hello, Sengkangers. Has your MP walked his talk and proven his efficacy?
We have come to the end of this video. Thank you for watching. Making video is time-consuming and hard work. Kindly click the subscribe button and click the like button so as to encourage us to make the videos you like. Thank you and have a good day.